But look, even when I was running for Senate, and each time I ran, quite frankly, not a joke, Philadelphia in particular got me across the line. No, I'm not joking. No, I mean it seriously, organizationally and in terms of fundraising, the whole deal. But look, here's the deal. This election is going to be about block and tackling, simple, basic politics. Simple. It's going to be a matter of how many signs we get out, how many doors we knock on, how many calls we make, and how many requests we answer.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about lying pencil neck Adam Schiff, who is going on NBC to discuss Joe Biden's debate performance and whether or not Joe Biden can beat Trump after that debate performance. Now, this guy is extremely Trump deranged. However, he seems to be coming to the reality that, hey, you know, this guy Biden probably can't beat Trump, and he is calling on Biden to take a cognitive test. However, there's a twist that he's throwing in there that I actually think is a great idea, okay? This twist that he's throwing in there comes from his Trump derangement, and I think his Trump derangement has led him to push for an idea that Trump should actually take up, okay? And I want to talk about it because this interview between Adam Schiff and Kirsten Welker is actually a pretty interesting interview despite the Trump derangement because, again, Adam Schiff is going to propose what I believe is an idea that Trump should push for. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
I want to get your gut reaction to that interview on Friday night. Obviously, the president trying to turn the page. Based on what you saw, do you think he is still the strongest candidate to beat former President Trump?
Well, ultimately, this is a decision President Biden is going to have to make, and President Biden alone. But I would say this. He has been an extraordinary president. He has created millions and millions of jobs. He has expanded and strengthened our NATO alliances. He has brought back manufacturing in this country. He has brought about the most aggressive attack on climate change. He has done more in one term than most presidents ever do, no matter how many terms they get.
You know what's so funny about this? If a Republican were making statements about how bad the country is, like how bad of a shape the country's in, the mainstream liberal media, they would be pushing back, right? Even though the American people believe the Republicans when it comes to how bad the country is, okay? Democrats go on television, though, and tell you how great the country is, how everything is awesome and amazing, and Biden's done such a great job, even though Biden's approval rating is in the tank. In the mainstream liberal media, they never push back against Democrats always talking about how Biden has done such a great job, despite his approval rating being in the tank. Like, it doesn't make sense. You can't say that you've done a great job, right, and your approval rating be one of the worst that we've ever seen in modern history. It just doesn't make sense.
And he's running against someone who's a pathological liar.
Biden's a pathological liar. Again, I wish the mainstream liberal media would actually push back against this and just call it for what it is. You keep calling Trump a liar, but Biden lied more than Trump did during that debate.
Who ran the country into the ground by his mishandling of a deadly pandemic. Someone who is a pathological, not only a pathological liar, but is immoral, indecent, unfit for office.
Just like you, right? Immoral, indecent, and unfit for office. You lying snake, okay? You lied about the Russia collusion, okay? This is the same guy that we know for a fact lied about Trump colluding with Russia. But again, he wants to call somebody else immoral, indecent, and unfit for office. Again, it's just a damn shame. It's like the pot calling the kettle black, except, again, Trump is not immoral, indecent, and he's definitely fit for office, much more so than this guy.
But the performance on the debate stage, I think, rightfully raised questions among the American people about whether the president has the vigor to defeat Donald Trump. And this is an existential race. Given Joe Biden's incredible record, given Donald Trump's terrible record, he should be mopping the floor with Donald Trump.
But he's not, because Biden doesn't have a good record. Biden hasn't done a good job. Again, see, this stuff doesn't make sense to me. And this is what really pisses me off about the media, right? He'll say something like, oh, well, Biden should be doing a lot better than Trump because of how great of a job he's done. But his approval ratings are in the tank. Actually, Trump should be doing a lot better than Biden right now. That should be the question. Why isn't Trump doing a lot better than Biden right now? Well, it's because the media spent so much time over the last 3 or 4 years trashing Trump and covering up for Biden. So now that you see the media actually covering Biden, guess what you're saying happening with the polls, guys? Trump is pulling ahead to the point where, again, it is a landslide. If Trump wins by 6 points in the popular vote, that is a landslide. It's not even going to be close. The election is going to be over at 10 p.m. on election night, which, I mean, that should be the case anyways, right? It should be over election night if it's done correctly. But I'm just saying, it's going to be over. There won't be any waiting to see. So, again, you know, it really frustrates me when the media allows these people to put forward these claims as if, oh, well, it's something mysterious about the fact that Biden isn't beating Trump right now because he's done such a great job. Well, no. How can you say he's done a great job when the American people are saying that he didn't do a great job, right? Who's the ultimate judge of whether or not Biden has done a great job? You or the American people? I think the American people are the judge. So, again, it just frustrates me that the media never kind of pushes back on this and says the obvious, which is that, well, the reason why is because Biden hasn't done a great job. What you're saying does not match the reality of what the American people are feeling. Again, Kristen Welker should be bringing this up because, if it was a Republican, this is what they'd be doing.
Joe Biden is running against a criminal. It should not be even close, and there's only one reason it is close, and that's the president's age. And what I would
No, the reason why it's close, again, is because the media refuses to cover Biden, right? It ain't because of Biden's age. It's literally because Trump did a great job, Biden's doing a terrible job, and that's what the American people are voting on, so it seems, right? But again, I think it would be even worse. I think Trump would be up by 15, 20 points if the media was actually doing their jobs for the past 3 years, like they have been for the past 2 weeks.
Say, Kristen, what I would advise the president is seek out the opinions of people you trust.
Yeah, like his crackhead son and his crazy wife, Jill, right? Is this what you mean, Adam Schiff? Is this what you mean?
He's obviously talked to his family about this, and that's important.
Yeah.
But he should seek out people with some distance and objectivity. He should seek out pollsters who are not his own pollsters. He should take a moment to make the best informed judgment. And if the judgment is run, then run hard and beat that SOB.
Congressman, what is your opinion? I mean, you watched that interview on Friday, and a lot of Democrats say it was fine. He certainly seemed stronger, more robust than during the debate, but it didn't put concerns to rest. Are you confident he can beat Donald Trump, or do you think he should drop out of the race?
The interview didn't put concerns to rest. No single interview is going to do that. And what I do think the president needs to decide is, can he put those concerns aside? Can he demonstrate to the American people that what happened on the debate stage was an aberration, that he can and will beat Donald Trump? Given this Supreme Court decision now essentially making any future Trump a dictator and a king, it's all the more important. But here's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, but that would apply to Joe Biden as well, too, right? And again, I think that Kirsten Welker should ask Adam Schiff, hey, since it seems as if you disagree with the Supreme Court decision, you would be totally fine with Obama being prosecuted for killing American citizens abroad with no due process. So you're totally fine with that, right? He should be prosecuted for that. Again, those are questions that the media should ask when these guys are making these ridiculous claims, pretending that they don't agree with the Supreme Court. They definitely agree with the Supreme Court in their decision. But again, what Adam Schiff here is saying, right? If you read between the lines, this guy clearly thinks that Joe Biden should drop out, right? Clearly he thinks that Joe Biden can't save his campaign, right? So again, he's a part of the Democrats that are basically trying to stage a coup against Joe Biden and push him out, okay? He's not giving a definitive answer or throwing his support behind Joe Biden in ways that other Democrats are doing so, right? He's basically saying, well, it ain't really looking too good, right? And he needs a real conversation with people who are going to give him a reality check on the fact that, hey, you can't really beat Trump. But again, I don't think any Democrat can beat Trump at this point. This is what these people don't really understand.
I think if the president takes the time to consult people and has an open mind about this, he will do what Joe Biden always does, which is he will make the right decision. He'll make the decision in the best interest of the country. That's what he has always done, and I'm confident that's what he will do here.
You heard Nancy Pelosi say that it's legitimate to ask, was this an episode or a condition? President Biden refused to commit to take a cognitive test. Do you think he should take a cognitive test?
Look, I'd be happy if both the president and Donald Trump took cognitive tests.
So that's a yes. You think he should take a cognitive test?
I think they both should be willing to take a test. I think, frankly, a test would show Donald Trump has serious illness of one kind or another.
Listen to this clown, bruh. Listen to this clown try to finesse his way through this interview, okay? Because what he's basically saying is that, yes, I definitely think that Biden should take a cognitive test, but he throws his Trump derangement in there to try to make it sound better, right? And that's what he tries to do. Well, Trump should take a test too. And I think that if Trump takes the test, it would show a serious illness. Okay, Adam Schiff, I actually think that's a great idea, right? I actually think that Adam Schiff just put forward a great idea that the Trump campaign should consider, right? Trump should come out here and say, hey, Adam Schiff brought up a great idea. He thinks that me and Biden should take a cognitive test, and that a cognitive test would show that I have a serious illness. All right, cool. Let's do it, right? I'm calling on Biden, me and Biden, to both go to the same independent doctor and to do a neurological examination, to do cognitive tests together, and to publicly share the results, right? This is what Trump should do. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. Okay, because Trump undoubtedly would pass the test. Straight up, he would pass the test with flying colors. Biden, on the other hand, it is likely that he would fail the test, which is why he refuses to take a test. Okay, Biden should have no problems taking an independent cognitive test if he really feels like he's in the right state of mind, that he's mentally fit for office. It shouldn't be a problem. I mean, Trump already took the test. Okay, Trump already took it. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind taking it again. So again, Adam Schiff here, in his Trump deranged rant, I think actually put forward a pretty decent idea. Yeah, both take the test so that Trump can show that, hey, yeah, I'm passing with flying colors, right? But Biden, I don't think that it is clear that Biden is going to pass, right? So I think that Adam Schiff kind of accidentally put out a great idea that I think Trump should consider to force Biden to take the test, okay? And if Biden fails the test, it's definitely over for him, right? Definitely over. And if he doesn't take the test at all, then again, it looks like he has something to hide, right? I mean, the media's already calling for him to do it. CNN's calling for him to do it. So if Trump calls for him to do it and says that, well, I'll do it too, because again, some of these people in the media think that Trump has some mental illness, which he doesn't. So they'll be like, oh yeah, Trump should take a test too. But again, Trump is going to pass. Biden is not going to pass, right? And again, it would just destroy Biden even further. But at this point, I low-key think that Republicans want Biden to stay in the race, right? In fact, I have been reading news stories about how Republicans essentially plan on challenging Democrats in key swing states if they try to take Joe Biden off the ballot, right? So if they try to switch out Joe Biden for somebody else, Republicans are actually going to challenge it to keep Joe Biden on the ballot, which would be devastating if they could actually be successful in just a few states, right? A few battleground states, a few key states. That would be devastating for the Democrats in a presidential race for Republicans to do that. And Republicans have been pretty silent for the most part when it comes to talking about what's happening with Joe Biden, and wisely so, by the way. I mean, this is one of those times where Republicans are not saying anything, right? They're shutting up, which they should, right? Don't say nothing. Just let Democrats destroy themselves. They should have did that when it came to the whole Hamas situation and what happened with Israel, okay, and the pro-Hamas protesters going after the Democrat Party. They should have just been like, hey, we ain't really got nothing to say about it. It's not our problem, right? But hey, in this situation right here, this is what they're doing, okay? This is what they're doing. They're actually learning, and it's working out beautifully, right? The media is not covering Trump at all. And the liberals are upset about it. They're losing their minds. They're like, why is the media not covering Trump? Trump has been missing for 10 days. Well, duh, because Trump is smart enough, he's savvy enough, he's wise enough to know that, yeah, I'm not going to disturb my enemies while they're destroying each other, right? I'm going to let them destroy each other. And then we'll clean up after they finish, defeating each other. It is what it is. It's very smart.
But ultimately, the decision is going to come down to what Joe Biden thinks is best. And if his decision is to run, then run hard and beat that SOB. And if his decision is to pass the torch, then the president should do everything in his power to make that other candidate successful.
Well, I think it's a legacy decision, in my opinion, right? I think that Biden really has to think about how he wants the liberal historians to view his presidency, because the conservative ones are going to say it's a disaster no matter what, right? One of the worst presidencies in history. However, the liberal historians, because they like to distort the truth about history, right? They like to change history. If Biden refuses to drop out and Trump wins, they will say he was one of the worst presidents in history, right? They will say that despite him beating Trump initially in 2020, he allowed Trump to come back because of his own selfish decisions to stay in the race, despite the fact that everybody knew that he was cognitively impaired. This is what they'll say. However, Biden drops out the race and he passes the torch to Kamala. What they'll say is that, well, Biden is one of the greatest presidents of all time, if not the best president of all time, because he put aside his own selfish ambitions in order to allow somebody else to beat Trump. This is what the liberal historians will say. So I think ultimately his decision will probably come down to legacy, right? Does he want to risk going up against Trump and then losing and then essentially being seen as one of the worst Democrat presidents ever? Or does he want to essentially be enshrined in the Democrat and liberal historian Hall of Fame as one of the best presidents, because that's what they will say if he steps down and his replacement actually beats Trump? However, I think it's likely that if Biden steps down, his replacement is not going to beat Trump. So I'm not necessarily sure if he's going to get the benefit of that. But if he stays in the race and he loses to Trump, which it looks like he most certainly will, then yeah, his reputation will be tarnished forever, right? It will be over for Joe Biden, right? He'll be disgraced.
And let me ask you about next steps, because obviously there are going to be meetings on Capitol Hill. Leader Jeffries, Mark Warner, concerned about down ballot races. Are Democrats in trouble with Joe Biden at the top of the ticket?
Look, there are concerns with the impact on down ballot races if the president doesn't do well.
Is he dragging down ballot races as we speak?
You know, at present, our down ballot candidates in the Senate and House are doing well. They're all ahead. They are running well ahead of the president. But you can only run so far ahead of the president. And so obviously Joe...
AKA Biden's a sinking ship, right? The president is supposed to be a rising tide that lifts all boats. But in this situation, Joe Biden is a sinking ship that is taking everybody down with him, right? That is essentially what's happening.
Biden is going to need to consider, for his own sake and his own legacy, can he beat Donald Trump? He's the best to beat Donald Trump.
Ding, ding, ding. Again, this is really a legacy decision, right? Because Democrats, I guarantee you behind closed doors, donors, Democrats are telling Biden, listen, if you step down, we're giving you a presidential library. We're going to make sure that, you know, Hunter actually gets treatment. We're going to take care of him. We're going to be customers of his art forever, right? They're offering him the world right now to step down. There's no doubt in my mind. But again, it really is a legacy decision in the sense that how does Biden want to be viewed by the liberal historians?
But also the profound impact this decision, maybe the most important of his presidency, will have on the House, on the Senate, on the future of the country.
You know, Congressman, when I talked to Democrats, one of the exchanges that frustrated the most from that interview on Friday was when he was asked what happens if you lose. President Biden said it's about whether he gave it his all. Is that what it's about? Is that answer satisfying to you?
No, that is the answer that most concerned me as well. This is not just about whether he gave it the best college try, but rather whether he made the right decision to run or to pass the torch. That is the most important decision for him to make right now. This is about whether this country remains a democracy, whether we veer off into some kind of pseudo-dictatorship. Everything is riding on this, and I know people feel an urgency. I feel an urgency, but I would tell the president, slow down and take the time to make the right decision here. That's best for the country, and I believe he will.
You know what's so hilarious about this? This guy says, well, you know, this decision about whether or not there's going to be democracy. Well, what you're advocating for the man to do is essentially to overthrow democracy, right? This is what you guys are trying to do. This is what you're doing in your party. In fact, Democrats hate democracy. There is anti-democracy built into the Democrat Party, right? In fact, the Democrats hate democracy so much that they have a fail-safe against it, right? It's their super delegate system. That's the thing that really blows my mind about these Democrats coming out here and claiming how much they love democracy. If you actually study the Democrat Party, you will see that they actually hate democracy because, again, they built in a fail-safe for it, right? They're like, hey, if the voters don't vote the right way, we can just overturn it, right? And this is what they're trying to do to Joe Biden. But again, these people come out here saying, well, you need to vote for them to save democracy. It's ridiculous, right? It is really ridiculous. But as you can see here, Adam Schiff, he's not really throwing his support behind Joe Biden too much. Clearly, there are some issues behind closed doors. And it seems as if things are just getting worse and worse and worse for the Biden administration. When you have one of your chief propagandists in Congress, even he's like, hey, I can't run propaganda on behalf of Biden in good faith, right? Stand behind this man while he is trying to defeat Trump, because I don't know if he can defeat Trump. You know you're in trouble, right? You know you are in trouble. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.